Yandy! Hi, Yandy.
This my husband.
No, don't touch me. Tell your husband don't touch me.
Wait, let me. I do it, baby. No, baby. I do it since I was a kid.
Don't touch me.
No, I do him since I was young. I do him since I was young.
Don't touch me, nigga.
Fuck you talking to my husband like that? Fuck you crazy? Fuck my husband like that?
Give me a hug.
The spotlight has always been on Mendeecees Harris and Yandy Smith Harris, a couple whose love story captivated millions of fans across the nation. But recently, their once perfect relationship has been rocked by shocking allegations that have left fans gasping in disbelief. What started as a simple misunderstanding has escalated into a heated public confrontation that's tearing apart their family, and it all centers around one devastating betrayal. You won't believe what's been going on behind closed doors. Mendeecees, the man fans thought was the picture of loyalty, is now accused of attacking Yandy in the most shocking way imaginable. Sources close to the couple reveal that this isn't just about a small argument. This is a full-blown emotional explosion, and the fallout is as messy as it is dramatic. As tempers flare, long-buried secrets come to light, and what seemed like an unshakable relationship is suddenly on the brink of collapse. Who can Yandy trust now? Is their marriage truly over, or is there still hope for reconciliation? And the big question, what really caused Mendeecees to lash out so violently? Fans are on the edge of their seats as the drama unfolds. Stay tuned as we dive deep into the shocking truth behind the betrayal that could change everything. It all started on an ordinary evening, or so it seemed. Yandy and Mendeecees were hosting a quiet dinner with close friends and family, but what was meant to be a peaceful gathering soon spiraled into something far darker. As the night wore on, emotions ran high and long-hidden frustrations began to bubble to the surface. The dinner was supposed to be a
The cameras had barely stopped rolling when whispers began to ripple through the love and hip-hop community. Whispers that would soon erupt into one of the most shocking scandals in the show's history. Mendeecees Harris and Yandy Smith Harris, once hailed as the ultimate power couple, are now at the center of an explosive storm that has fans absolutely shook. What really happened behind closed doors? What caused Mendeecees to lash out in a shocking attack that left Yandy in tears and the entire family divided? Tonight, we're diving deep into Mendeecees' shocking attack on Yandy, the dark truth behind the betrayal. And trust me, this story is not what it seems. It all started on what seemed like a normal night, a quiet evening at the couple's Atlanta home. Social media was buzzing with pictures of Yandy's latest business launch, and fans were flooding her page with congratulations. But behind the filtered smiles and matching outfits, insiders say tension had been brewing for weeks. Sources close to the couple reveal that a heated confrontation turned into something far more intense, something that would change everything. According to eyewitness accounts, Mendeecees' tone that night was unlike anything Yandy had ever heard before. He wasn't himself. One friend told us. There was anger in his eyes, but there was also hurt, like something inside him had snapped. The argument reportedly started over trust issues, but quickly spiraled into accusations of betrayal, secret messages, and a mysterious phone call that Yandy supposedly received just hours before. The confrontation allegedly reached a breaking point when Yandy confronted Mendeecees with something he didn't expect. "You've been lying to me," she's said to have shouted, her voice trembling but fierce. "You made me look like a fool to the world." Mendeecees, visibly shaken, reportedly responded with an outburst that stunned everyone in the room. What followed, according to a source who claims to have witnessed the moment, was like something out of a movie, intense, emotional, and raw. By the next morning, Yandy's social media had gone silent. No posts, no stories, no quotes about family or forgiveness, just silence. Fans immediately noticed. "Something's off," one follower commented. "Yandy never goes this quiet unless something's really wrong." Within hours, hashtags like #PrayForYandy and #Mendeecees began trending, as rumors spread like wildfire across Twitter and TikTok. Was this just another lover's quarrel blown out of proportion? Or is there a dark secret lurking behind the cameras, something that's been hidden for years? Some insiders claim this was the night when years of unresolved tension finally boiled over. Others whisper that Yandy uncovered something she was never supposed to see. Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain: the Harris family will never be the same again. Stay tuned, because we're pulling back the curtain on everything. The betrayal, the lies, and the shocking moment that fans can't stop talking about. This is where it all begins. The tension in the Harris household had been building for weeks, though no one outside the inner circle could see it. Fans might have thought that Mendeecees and Yandy were living their best life, smiling for the cameras, dropping hints of family harmony on social media, but insiders say the reality behind those posts was anything but perfect. The night that would change everything started quietly, with what seemed like an ordinary dinner. The table was set, the kids were laughing in the background, but the air was thick with unspoken words. Mendeecees sat in his usual chair, arms crossed, eyes distant, while Yandy tried to engage him with a lighthearted question about a new business opportunity. "So, what do you think about launching that new collection next month?" Yandy asked, her voice bright but cautious. Mendeecees didn't respond immediately. He just stared at his plate, jaw tight. "We need to talk," he finally muttered, his tone low but loaded with tension. Yandy froze, sensing that the conversation was going somewhere dark. "About what?" she asked, though she already feared she knew the answer. The words spilled out like a dam breaking. Mendeecees accused Yandy of hiding things from him, of sending messages he wasn't meant to see, of making decisions without consulting him. The accusations weren't just about small misunderstandings, they cut deep into trust, loyalty, and the foundation of their marriage. "You think I don't notice?" he said, voice rising. "All these little things, all these secrets, it adds up. I feel like I don't even know who you are anymore." Yandy's eyes welled up with tears, but her voice stayed steady. "Mendeecees, I have never lied to you. I've always told you the truth." The room grew colder, the tension palpable. Friends who were supposedly stopping by that night described the scene as electric, like the calm before a storm. According to sources close to the couple, the argument escalated quickly. Phrases like "you betrayed me" and "how could you do this to our family" flew across the room. The kids, previously playing quietly, began to notice the shouting, and the laughter of minutes ago was replaced by nervous glances and whispered questions. One of the children, barely 7, asked, "Mommy, why are you yelling?" Yandy, trying to stay composed, whispered back, "We're just having a grown-up conversation, baby." But even she could feel the cracks in her voice, the tremor that betrayed her calm facade. Mendeecees reportedly grew more aggressive, pacing back and forth. "Do you know how hard I've worked for this family? Do you know what I've sacrificed? And all the while, you're keeping things from me." Yandy, standing now, faced him squarely, the tears threatening to fall, but refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing her break. "I've done everything for this family too," she said, voice firm, "and you know it. Don't you dare try to twist this on me." The friends present later described the scene as tense, like watching a powder keg about to explode. As the argument continued, a mysterious phone call allegedly came in. Sources claim Yandy's phone lit up with a message from an unknown number, a message that instantly escalated Mendeecees' anger. He grabbed the phone, reading the contents over her shoulder, his face turning red. "This explains everything," he muttered under his breath, though no one could decipher whether he meant betrayal, hurt, or disbelief. Yandy tried to grab the phone back, but Mendeecees reportedly flinched, holding it just out of reach. The friends described the moment as shocking, surreal, like a scene from a drama series, except it was real life. The night wore on, and the voices grew louder. Accusations became more personal. Yandy accused Mendeecees of hiding his own secrets, of not sharing his fears, his doubts, and his mistakes. "You think I'm the only one with skeletons?" she shouted, pacing the living room. "I've carried more than you can imagine, and I've done it for this family." The argument reportedly drew in other family members via phone calls. Cousins, aunts, and close friends were caught in the crossfire, trying to mediate but only feeding the intensity of the moment. "I've never heard them like this," a friend said later. It was raw, real, and completely unfiltered. Emotions ran high, and every word cut deeper than the last. According to multiple insiders, the confrontation reached a critical point around midnight. Mendeecees, feeling cornered and betrayed, allegedly raised his voice to a level that shocked even the most seasoned friends. "Enough lies. Enough pretending," he shouted. "I'm tired of being in the dark while you play games." Yandy, though visibly shaken, held her ground. "Games? Do you think I'm playing games with you? Do you think I enjoy hurting you?" Her voice cracked, but she did not back down. The family was left divided in that moment, with sides taken in whispers and subtle gestures rather than outright confrontation. Throughout the argument, the children reportedly overheard phrases that no child should ever hear. One friend said, "They were yelling about betrayal, lies, and secrets, and the kids were just sitting there, confused, scared." You could see the innocence leaving their eyes as reality crashed in. Social media, though not yet aware of the unfolding drama, would soon become the next battlefield. Fans who follow the couple closely began to notice subtle hints. A deleted Instagram story here, a cryptic tweet there, a change in tone that suggested something huge had happened behind closed doors. As the hours passed, the tension took a physical toll. Yandy reportedly retreated to her bedroom to calm down, while Mendeecees remained in the living room, pacing and muttering to himself. Friends described the scene as heartbreaking. One said, "You could feel the love that was still there, but it was buried under anger, hurt, and disappointment." They weren't enemies, but they weren't in sync either. The night was far from over. Text messages, voice notes, and phone calls allegedly continued into the early morning, each one escalating misunderstandings and deepening the rift between the couple. Sources claim that by 3 a.m., Yandy made a bold move. She decided to confront Mendeecees, not with anger, but with a secret she had been holding back, something that, if revealed, could either mend or completely shatter their relationship. "I can't keep this from you anymore," she reportedly said, her voice trembling but resolute. "I can't keep this from you anymore," she reportedly said, her voice trembling but resolute. Mendeecees, exhausted and furious, barely looked at her. "Do it then," he replied, voice low. Dangerous. The revelation, sources say, involved past decisions that neither had discussed publicly. A hidden part of Yandy's life that even close friends didn't know about. It was the moment that shifted the power dynamic, leaving both stunned. Friends who were present later described the room as silent for the first time all night. The tension was so thick, you could almost touch it. It was like watching two people teeter on the edge of a cliff. One insider said, "One wrong word, and someone falls." The energy in the room was heavy, suffocating. You could feel history, love, anger, and betrayal all colliding at once. Despite the silence, emotions ran high. Eyes were red, hands shook, and the weight of the moment pressed down like a physical force. By dawn, the family was fractured. Reports say that the children sensed the change immediately, that their parents were not just fighting, but something deeper, something irreparable had occurred. Friends tried to mediate, calling both sides, offering advice, pleading for calm. But the aftershocks of the confrontation lingered. "It was one of those nights that changes everything," said one insider. "You can't put the pieces back the same way once they've been shattered like that." Social media was about to explode, but no one knew it yet. The world wouldn't know the full story for days, and even then, only fragments would leak. Cryptic posts, rumors, and fan speculation. As morning light crept through the windows, Yandy and Mendeecees sat in silence, each lost in their thoughts. Friends describe it as an eerie calm, like the storm had passed, but the destruction remained. No apologies had been made, no reconciliations attempted yet. The house, once full of laughter and energy, felt heavy, almost unrecognizable. Family members called in from out of town, sensing that something was wrong. The lines of communication were strained, messages went unanswered, and even casual check-ins became loaded with tension. Fans who caught wind of the drama later were shocked at the subtle signs. Yandy posted a photo of herself with the caption, "Sometimes silence speaks louder than words," while Mendeecees went dark online, deleting older posts and refusing to engage with fans. The internet exploded with speculation. What had really happened that night? Were the accusations true, or just the product of heightened emotions? Was there really a betrayal, or something even darker behind the scenes? The questions hung in the air, unanswered, fueling fan theories and endless debates across social media. By mid-morning, whispers of a secret meeting surfaced. Sources claimed that Yandy had secretly invited a close friend to the house to help navigate the emotional wreckage, to guide her through the aftermath of a night that had shaken her to her core. Mendeecees, meanwhile, was reportedly left alone in the living room, scrolling through messages, replaying conversations in his mind, and questioning every decision, every word, every glance from the previous night. The emotional fallout, insiders say, was just beginning. The night had changed the trajectory of their relationship forever. What started as a disagreement had spiraled into an epic confrontation that exposed vulnerabilities, fears, and secrets that neither party was fully prepared to face. According to friends and insiders, this was the night that the Harris family was left divided, the night that fans would talk about for years, the night that would set the stage for betrayals, confrontations, and revelations that no one saw coming. And even as the morning sun rose, the drama was far from over. The next chapters of this saga would bring unexpected alliances, shocking confrontations, and emotional roller coasters that would test the limits of love, loyalty, and family. The stage was set, the players were in place, and the audience, the fans, the friends, The family were about to witness a story that would become the stuff of reality TV legend. The morning after the confrontation, the house felt almost haunted. Silence hung in the air like a thick fog, broken only by the occasional shuffle of feet or the soft whisper of a voice from another room. Yandy sat at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, staring at nothing and everything all at once. Mendeecees, on the other side of the room, leaned against the wall, scrolling through his phone with a hollow expression. Friends who had spoken to them said it was like watching two people orbiting each other but never quite touching, both carrying the weight of yesterday's storm. As the day progressed, more people got involved, each bringing their own opinions, loyalties, and biases. Yandy's best friend arrived, claiming she could mediate, but insiders said the attempt only added fuel to the fire. She didn't know what she was walking into. One source said, one wrong word, one sideways glance, and it would have exploded all over again. And exploded. The moment she stepped into the room, Mendeecees' voice rose again, accusing, questioning, doubting. You think I need advice from outsiders? He reportedly shouted. You think anyone can understand what's happening here? Yandy, visibly frustrated, shot back. I didn't ask for your permission. I asked for help. Maybe you should try it sometime. The room went tense once more, and the family was left wondering if there would ever be reconciliation. The whispers outside the house were growing louder. Fans had already started piecing together the drama from subtle social media cues. Yandy's cryptic post, Mendeecees' silence, and the deleted stories sparked a frenzy online. Hashtags like #HarrisScandal and #Mendeecees outburst started trending. Insiders say that within hours, friends and distant family were receiving calls from people they barely knew, all wanting the inside scoop. The pressure on the couple escalated, not just from their own emotions, but from the weight of public scrutiny. Later that afternoon, a private phone call allegedly triggered another eruption. A mutual friend supposedly called Mendeecees, revealing new information that Yandy had not yet disclosed. Sources say he slammed the phone down and yelled, "Why wasn't I told sooner? Why am I always the last to know?" Yandy, overhearing him, reportedly felt both relief and dread. Relief that some truths were finally coming to light, and dread because she feared the conversation would turn into yet another battlefield. I can't believe this, she whispered to herself. How much more can we survive? As evening fell, the tension reached a boiling point. The children, sensing the charged atmosphere, reportedly tried to intervene in their own innocent way. One of them tugged at Mendeecees' sleeve, asking, "Dad, why are you mad at Mommy?" He reportedly froze, the question hitting him harder than any argument ever could. Yandy crouched down to their level, trying to comfort them, while secretly battling the same surge of emotions. Friends later described the scene as heartbreaking, the innocence of the children colliding with the adult storm raging around them. It was almost unbearable to watch. One insider said, "You could see love and frustration wrestling in real time." But just when it seemed like the night would end in quiet despair, a shocking twist occurred. A longtime family acquaintance allegedly arrived unannounced. Sources claim this person had information that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees were prepared to confront. They just walked in, and the room froze, a friend said. Everyone could feel that something big was about to happen. The acquaintance reportedly dropped a bombshell, a revelation about past betrayals that predated even the couple's marriage. The accusations were so intense, so personal, that both Yandy and Mendeecees were left momentarily speechless. I've been holding this for years, the acquaintance said, and it's time you both knew the truth. The news hit like a tidal wave. Mendeecees' face paled, and Yandy's eyes widened in disbelief. Friends said it was a surreal moment, emotions running high, silence and gasps filling the room. You're telling me this now? Yandy reportedly demanded, her voice trembling but fierce. Mendeecees, trying to regain composure, whispered, "This changes everything." The revelation, sources claim, exposed a series of events and decisions that neither party had fully understood, unraveling layers of trust that had taken years to build. As the night wore on, both Yandy and Mendeecees tried to process the new information. Heated exchanges continued, but now with an added layer of historical grievances. Accusations flew, voices cracked, tears fell, and the children remained caught in the middle, whispering questions that adults struggled to answer. Friends say the tension was almost tangible, like a storm trapped in a single room, waiting for the first lightning strike. In the midst of the chaos, Yandy reportedly took a bold step. She decided to confront not just Mendeecees but also the outsider who had brought the revelation. "I need the full story," she said, her tone commanding. "No more secrets, no more holding back." The room reportedly fell silent again. Friends described it as a pivotal moment, Yandy for once, seizing control of the narrative instead of letting the storm dictate her actions. Mendeecees, still reeling from the news, reportedly muttered, "I don't know if I can handle this." Though his eyes betrayed a mixture of anger and fear. Friends say that by midnight, the confrontation had taken a new turn. Alleged confessions, hidden emotions, and long-buried secrets emerged, each revelation more shocking than the last. The family reportedly experienced a roller coaster of emotions: anger, betrayal, relief, sadness, and fleeting moments of understanding. It was like watching a hurricane of emotions. An insider said, "You didn't know what would hit next. Who would yell, who would cry, who would storm out." The drama didn't stop there. Social media, always lurking, was ready to pounce on any slip. Fans who were still piecing together fragments of the previous night began speculating wildly. Some claimed to know the real reason behind the fight, while others blamed one party entirely. The pressure of public scrutiny reportedly added fuel to the fire, making private resolutions almost impossible. Friends say Yandy and Mendeecees were caught between managing family, their own emotions, and the growing storm of online gossip. Despite the chaos, moments of vulnerability emerged. Friends claim that at one point, Yandy reportedly reached out to Mendeecees, saying, "I don't want to fight anymore. I just want us to understand each other." He allegedly responded with a whisper, barely audible, "I don't know if that's possible right now." The rawness of the exchange, according to insiders, revealed that beneath the anger and betrayal, love was still there, tangled and complicated, but very much alive. As dawn approached again, the family reportedly tried to regroup. Friends say that strategies for reconciliation were discussed in hushed tones. Alliances shifted subtly, and the couple began to glimpse the enormity of what had just happened. The revelations of the night had left everyone reeling, but they also forced a reckoning with themselves, with each other, and with the future of their family. By the time the sun rose, the Harris household had transformed. Nothing would be the same. Friends described it as a turning point, where innocence was lost, truths were exposed, and everyone had to confront the shadows of the past. And while the dust had settled slightly, the aftermath was only beginning. The story of betrayal, confrontation, and shocking revelations was far from over, and insiders hinted that the coming days would bring even more unexpected twists. Every conversation, every glance, every social media post that followed was now loaded with meaning. Fans were waiting, speculating, and reacting to every subtle hint. The couple's inner circle was on edge, aware that a single misstep could reignite the storm. And through it all, the children remained innocent observers, feeling the tension, sensing the fractures, and unknowingly playing a role in the unfolding drama. The stage was set for part 3 of this saga, where even more shocking confrontations, alliances, and secrets would emerge. The night had revealed just enough to keep everyone guessing, but the real battles, the real betrayals, were still on the horizon. Insiders say that the coming days would redefine relationships, test loyalties, and push everyone involved to their emotional limits. The story, fans would soon discover, was only just beginning. The days following the shocking revelations were anything but calm. The Harris household reportedly became a pressure cooker of emotions, each interaction charged with the intensity of the previous nights. Mendeecees and Yandy, though under the same roof, were navigating an invisible battlefield, carefully choosing words, calculating movements, and trying to protect their children from the emotional fallout. Friends say the tension was palpable, like walking through a room filled with static electricity, where even a whisper could ignite another storm. Insiders claim that Mendeecees began isolating himself, spending hours in his study or pacing the backyard, replaying every argument, every accusation, and every secret that had come to light. His friends reportedly reached out repeatedly, trying to offer guidance, but he allegedly brushed them off. "I can't talk to anyone right now," he muttered to one close friend. "I need to figure out what's left, what's broken, and what I can fix." Meanwhile, Yandy was said to be equally restless, confiding in her inner circle about the emotional toll. Friends described her as both determined and fragile, a woman trying to maintain control while confronting layers of betrayal she hadn't anticipated. Rumors began circulating about a private family meeting, one that would allegedly include both sets of extended family members, aiming to address the mounting tension. According to insiders, the meeting was meant to be a calm discussion, but as soon as the first words were spoken, emotions ran high. Voices rose, accusations were hurled, and tears flowed freely. It was like pouring gasoline on a fire, a family friend said later. Everyone had opinions, everyone had grievances, and no one was holding back. Mendeecees reportedly opened the meeting with a heavy statement. "We have to face the truth," he said, his voice shaking with both anger and pain. "We can't pretend anymore. The lies, the secrets, the betrayals, they end now." Yandy, sitting across from him, nodded. But the tension in her posture suggested that she was bracing for another confrontation. "We both have things to answer for," she responded. "But we need to be honest, not just with each other, but with everyone here." The room reportedly went silent for a moment, the weight of the words hanging in the air like an unspoken threat. Friends say that once the silence broke, the accusations flew. Distant relatives and friends chimed in, revealing their own observations and grievances. Some criticized Mendeecees for being distant or secretive. Others called out Yandy for perceived manipulations or hidden agendas. Each revelation seemed to layer more tension onto an already strained environment. One family member reportedly whispered, "I've never seen them like this. It's like the foundation of their relationship is crumbling in front of us." The children, though kept in another room, were reportedly aware of the high-pitched voices, the crying, and the palpable anger. Their innocence slowly eroding with each exchange. Amid the chaos, a new twist allegedly emerged. A close friend of Yandy's reportedly revealed a text conversation she had discovered, one that implied Mendeecees might have been withholding more than just feelings. Possibly financial secrets or undisclosed meetings that further complicated the picture. When confronted, Mendeecees reportedly defended himself fiercely, insisting that he had acted with the family's best interests in mind. "Everything I've done was for this family," he shouted, his voice echoing through the house. "I've never hidden anything out of malice." Yandy, however, reportedly was unconvinced. "Intentions don't erase impact," she said, tears streaming down her face. "What you didn't tell me changed everything." The confrontation reportedly reached another peak when a previously silent cousin allegedly decided to speak up. This family member claimed to have evidence of past betrayals from years ago, ones that no one in the room had considered relevant until now. Friends described the cousin's words as explosive, a revelation that turned the argument into a full-blown emotional avalanche. Mendeecees reportedly clenched his fists, trying to contain his anger, while Yandy's face reflected a mixture of shock and validation, proof that some suspicions she had harbored were true. After hours of heated discussion, the family attempted a brief pause. Insiders say that both Yandy and Mendeecees retreated to separate rooms to collect themselves. The silence was reportedly deafening, the air thick with unsaid words and unspoken accusations. Friends described the moment as eerie, like the calm after a storm that's only the beginning of a hurricane. Yet even in isolation, both reportedly reviewed past messages, emails, and social media posts, searching for clues, patterns, or confirmations that would make sense of the chaos. As night fell, a shocking confrontation occurred in the kitchen, away from the eyes of family and friends. Sources say Mendeecees cornered Yandy near the refrigerator, emotions spilling over. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he reportedly demanded, his face a mixture of fury and heartbreak. Yandy, standing her ground, whispered, "I didn't know how. I was afraid it would destroy everything." The dialogue reportedly escalated, voices rising and falling, words stabbing like knives, emotions raw and unfiltered. According to friends, the argument ended with both exhausted, shaking, but unable to stop thinking about the next inevitable clash. Meanwhile, social media had begun buzzing again. Insiders claim that some leaks from the family meeting found their way online. Screenshots, cryptic comments, and cryptic posts that only fueled the frenzy. Fans speculated endlessly, some picking sides, others fabricating theories, and some simply waiting for the next explosive revelation. The online audience, oblivious to the full context, reportedly added another layer of pressure to the already strained household. Every move was being watched, a friend said. Every word, every glance, every silence. It was exhausting for everyone involved. In the days that followed, alliances shifted dramatically. Friends and family allegedly began choosing sides, some sympathizing with Yandy, others defending Mendeecees. One friend reportedly whispered to Yandy, "You have to be careful who you trust. Some of these people are playing both sides." Yandy allegedly nodded, aware that trust had become a rare commodity. Meanwhile, Mendeecees reportedly confided in a longtime friend, expressing frustration not just with the betrayals, but with how his inner circle seemed divided. "I don't know who's honest anymore," he reportedly said. "It's like everyone has their own agenda." Tensions reportedly came to a head again during a late-night discussion about the children's welfare. Both Yandy and Mendeecees allegedly became emotional, realizing that their personal battles were affecting the ones they loved most. "I don't want them to grow up thinking this is normal," Yandy reportedly said, voice breaking. Mendeecees, also shaken, replied, "I'm trying. But how do you fix this without breaking everything else?" Friends say the emotional exchange left both drained, yet strangely aware of the fragility of their family unit. Yet, even in moments of vulnerability, more secrets allegedly surfaced. A mutual friend reportedly revealed additional past mistakes, moments of deceit, misunderstandings, and hidden decisions that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees had fully processed. The new information reportedly reignited arguments, forcing both to confront not only each other's actions but their own. "It was relentless," one insider said. "There was no pause, no relief. Every new detail dug the emotional pit deeper." By the end of the week, the household reportedly resembled a battlefield, where every word, glance, and action was charged with layers of meaning. Friends claim that the couple, though still together physically, were navigating an emotional minefield, where reconciliation seemed possible one moment and impossible the next. The children, sensitive to the tension, reportedly began asking questions, whispering concerns, and noticing the subtle shifts in their parents' moods. Friends said it was a delicate balance, one that could tip at any moment. Sources allege that the climax of Part 3 was an intense late-night confrontation in the living room. Mendeecees reportedly finally broke down, admitting some of the truths he had been hiding, his voice raw, shaking, and full of emotion. "I made mistakes," he said. "I can't take them back, but I need you to know I never wanted to hurt you." Yandy, equally emotional, reportedly responded, "I know you didn't, but actions speak louder than words. And right now, we have to decide if this family can survive the storm." Friends described the exchange as heart-wrenching, a mixture of pain, love, and desperation all colliding in one moment. The night ended with an uneasy truce. Insiders say both Yandy and Mendeecees retreated to separate rooms, contemplating the revelations, arguments, and decisions that had defined the week. Yet even as they rested, the tension reportedly lingered, like a shadow over every conversation, every plan, every interaction. Friends warned that the peace was fragile, temporary, and that the next explosive confrontation could arrive at any time. As fans continued to speculate online, insiders hinted at more shocking developments in the coming days: confrontations, alliances, and betrayals that no one outside the inner circle could imagine. The story, already filled with twists and emotional upheaval, was far from over. The saga of Mendeecees, Yandy, and the Harris household was entering a new chapter, one that promised even more drama, heartache, and jaw-dropping revelations. The uneasy truce that had settled over the Harris household was short. Insiders claimed that as soon as dawn broke, the tension from the previous nights began creeping back into every room, every conversation, every glance. The children reportedly sensed it immediately, their once carefree chatter replaced by nervous whispers and subtle questions. "Mommy, why are you still upset?" one child allegedly asked, tugging at Yandy's sleeve. Yandy reportedly knelt down, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We're just figuring things out, baby," she whispered, though inside, the weight of the household drama pressed heavily on her chest. Mendeecees, meanwhile, was said to be pacing in the backyard, phone in hand, scrolling through messages that ranged from concerned friends to gossiping relatives. Each notification reportedly added another layer of stress. Insiders described him as tense, jaw tight, shoulders stiff, caught between the desire to resolve things and the fear that every move could spark another explosive confrontation. Friends claim he muttered to himself repeatedly, "How did it get this bad? How do we fix it without losing everything?" The morning reportedly took a dramatic turn when Yandy received a mysterious call. The voice on the other end allegedly hinted at information that neither she nor Mendeecees had considered. A piece of the past that could potentially explain the cascade of betrayals and misunderstandings. "This changes everything," Yandy reportedly said under her breath, her eyes widening with both fear and anticipation. She shared the news with a close confidant, who warned her to proceed carefully. Friends say Yandy's hands shook as she processed the revelation, knowing it could either heal the cracks in their family or shatter them completely. The afternoon was reportedly marked by a series of intense confrontations. Mendeecees allegedly intercepted a message Yandy had been hesitant to share, and the discovery triggered another emotionally charged exchange. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he reportedly demanded, voice cracking with frustration. Yandy, trying to maintain control, responded, "I was afraid of how you'd react. Afraid of what it would do to us." Friends claim the argument escalated rapidly, voices overlapping, words sharp, accusations flying with no clear resolution in sight. In the midst of the chaos, family members reportedly weighed in. Cousins, aunts, and close friends, each with their own loyalties, offered advice that often contradicted one another. Some urged patience and calm. Others pressed for immediate action and confrontation. Insiders say the conflicting opinions only fueled the tension. One friend reportedly whispered, "Everyone thinks they know what's best, but no one really does. It's like walking on a tightrope over a storm." The children, still sensitive to the atmosphere, reportedly began asking more questions, their innocence eroding with every raised voice and tearful exchange. By evening, a dramatic twist allegedly occurred. A longtime family friend reportedly arrived with evidence suggesting that not all betrayals had been uncovered. Documents, messages, and past conversations were allegedly laid out on the table, each piece revealing a deeper layer of deception. Friends claim that the room fell silent as everyone absorbed the information. Mendeecees reportedly looked as though the ground had shifted beneath him. Yandy's face, according to insiders, reflected a complex mix of validation, fear, and exhaustion. "I can't believe this," she reportedly whispered, her voice barely audible. The night escalated further when allegations from extended family members surfaced. One cousin allegedly accused Mendeecees of decisions that had hurt the family financially, while another suggested that Yandy had concealed interactions that created tension with friends outside the household. The accusations reportedly created a whirlwind of emotion, voices overlapping, tears falling, and shouts echoing through the house. Friends later described the scene as a tornado of betrayal, anger, and heartbreak, with everyone caught in the eye. Midnight brought another shocking revelation. A close friend of Mendeecees allegedly stepped forward, revealing information about past decisions and private conversations that no one had previously disclosed. The disclosure reportedly left both Yandy and Mendeecees stunned, their faces pale, their emotions raw. Friends claim that the conversation stretched for hours, each word dissected, each accusation examined, leaving both exhausted but unable to disengage. Throughout the night, whispers of loyalty and betrayal reportedly dominated every discussion. Alliances shifted subtly. Friends and relatives reconsidered their positions, and the couple reportedly oscillated between moments of reconciliation and renewed conflict. Insiders described the atmosphere as unstable, charged, and unpredictable. You never knew which way it would swing. The children, though mostly asleep, were still reportedly aware of the underlying tension, their dreams shadowed by the emotional turmoil surrounding them. As the hours dragged on, Yandy reportedly took a decisive step. She allegedly initiated a private conversation with Mendeecees, away from family and friends, aiming to confront not only the revelations of the past days but also their emotional patterns. "We can't keep going in circles," she reportedly said, voice steady but intense. "We have to face everything, the lies, the secrets, the betrayals, if we want to survive this." Mendeecees, reportedly shaken but attentive, responded, "I don't know if I can face it all, but I know we have to try." The exchange, according to insiders, was both raw and vulnerable, revealing the depth of their love, as well as the fractures threatening to undo it. Later that night, tensions reportedly returned with a vengeance. Another family member allegedly revealed yet another secret, one that no one had anticipated. Friends described the revelation as a bombshell, reshaping the entire narrative of the past week. Mendeecees reportedly slammed his fist on the table, voice filled with disbelief. Yandy, though visibly shaken, reportedly maintained a composed exterior, responding, "We deal with it, we face it. We don't let it define us." The conversation reportedly lasted hours, with emotions running high, tears falling, and voices cracking under the weight of truth. Social media, already ablaze with speculation, reportedly began picking up on subtle hints of the unfolding drama. Fans speculated about every post, every comment, every silence. Hashtags trended, theories multiplied, and the pressure on the couple reportedly intensified. Insiders claim that every glance, every whispered conversation, and every deleted story was analyzed by fans, fueling a relentless cycle of scrutiny that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees could escape. Friends say that by the early morning hours, a fragile moment of peace emerged. The couple reportedly sat together quietly, reflecting on the chaos of the past days. Their children asleep, the house momentarily still. "We've been through hell," Yandy allegedly whispered. Mendeecees reportedly responded, voice low and tired, "And we're still here. Somehow, we're still here." Insiders say it was a fleeting moment of connection, a brief pause before the inevitable storm that lay ahead. The morning after, insiders claim the family tried to regroup. Conversations focused on damage control, future plans, and strategies for rebuilding trust. Friends and relatives reportedly offered support, but tensions lingered. It was like trying to put together a shattered mirror, one insider said. Every piece had its own story, its own fracture. You couldn't just glue it back together and hope it looked whole. Yet, despite the uncertainty, both Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly showed signs of determination to navigate the chaos together, aware that the coming days would test their resilience, loyalty, and love. As the week progressed, more twists allegedly emerged. A business associate reportedly revealed interactions that added complexity to the ongoing drama, while a distant relative allegedly disclosed conversations that questioned previous assumptions. The family reportedly spent hours deliberating, arguing, and negotiating, emotions running high with each revelation. Friends described the environment as relentless, emotionally charged, and exhausting, with no clear path to resolution. Insiders claim that during one particularly intense discussion, Yandy reportedly confronted Mendeecees about long-standing patterns of secrecy and miscommunication. "We can't keep hiding from ourselves," she allegedly said, voice firm. "If we want to survive, we have to be brutally honest, even when it hurts." Mendeecees, reportedly overwhelmed, responded, "I know, but honesty can destroy as much as it heals." Friends say the conversation stretched for hours, testing the limits of patience, vulnerability, and emotional endurance. By the end of Part 4, insiders allege that the Harris household had entered a new phase, one of tense awareness, fragile connections, and looming revelations. The drama, according to friends, was far from over, and the stage was set for even more shocking confrontations, hidden secrets, and emotional upheavals in the days to come. The story of Mendeecees, Yandy, and the Harris family, fans would soon discover, was only escalating, with each new revelation building toward a crescendo that promised to redefine relationships, loyalties, and the very foundation of their family life. The Harris household reportedly woke to another day fraught with tension, each moment heavier than the last. Insiders say the night's revelations had left both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally drained, yet hyper-aware of every glance, word, and gesture. The children, sensing the lingering unease, reportedly moved cautiously through the house, whispering questions, tugging on sleeves, their innocence slowly eroding under the weight of the adult storm. Friends described the atmosphere as electric, fragile, and charged with expectation, the kind of energy that makes every interaction feel like a potential explosion. Mendeecees reportedly began the morning in solitude, pacing the backyard while scrolling through messages that ranged from worried friends to curious relatives. Every notification, insiders say, seemed to add a new layer of stress. "How did it get this far?" he allegedly muttered. "How do we fix what's broken without destroying everything else?" Yandy, meanwhile, reportedly moved quietly through the house, attempting to prepare breakfast, speak calmly to the children, and maintain a sense of normalcy while internally grappling with the emotional fallout. Friends claim she was torn between maintaining control and confronting the unresolved tensions that seemed to shadow every corner. By midday, an unexpected visitor reportedly arrived, claiming knowledge of events that no one had yet disclosed. Insiders say this friend, a longtime confidant of both Yandy and Mendeecees, brought documents and messages that allegedly painted a picture of hidden alliances, secret decisions, and long-buried conflicts. The family reportedly gathered in the living room, absorbing the new information with shock, disbelief, and a mix of relief and validation. "I can't believe this is happening again," Yandy allegedly whispered to a friend. "It's like the past refuses to stay buried." Mendeecees reportedly reacted with visible frustration. "Why now? Why after everything we've already faced?" he allegedly shouted. His voice, raw with emotion, reportedly filled the room, reverberating off the walls and leaving a palpable tension in the air. Yandy, standing her ground, reportedly replied, "We can't change the timing of truths, only how we respond. We have to face it." Friends described the exchange as an intense clash of emotion and reason, love and anger, each word a knife cutting through weeks of unresolved tension. As evening approached, another shocking development reportedly emerged. A close friend of Yandy's allegedly revealed additional private messages, suggesting that Mendeecees might have made decisions in the past that contradicted what he had admitted publicly. Insiders claim Yandy confronted him privately, voice steady but cutting. "How long were you planning to keep this from me?" Mendeecees, reportedly caught off guard, responded, "I didn't want to hurt you. I thought I was protecting everyone." Friends described the confrontation as raw and emotionally charged, the kind of dialogue that leaves both parties shaken, vulnerable, and on edge. The night reportedly grew darker when extended family members allegedly began weighing in. Cousins, aunts, and friends shared opinions, observations, and personal grievances that allegedly escalated tensions further. Everyone had something to say, and no one was holding back. One insider said, "Voices reportedly overlapped, accusations flew, and tears fell freely," leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees exhausted yet unable to disengage. Insiders claim that even the children, though mostly kept in another room, were aware of the tension, whispering questions and seeking comfort in each other. At one point, insiders allege that a mutual friend delivered a revelation that neither party had anticipated, a secret from years prior that allegedly tied into the current conflicts, adding layers of complexity to already volatile dynamics. Mendeecees reportedly clenched his fists, trying to contain the emotional surge, while Yandy's face reportedly reflected a mixture of shock, anger, and validation. "I knew something was off," she allegedly said quietly. "Now I understand why." Friends described the scene as a whirlwind of emotion, each layer of truth digging deeper into the foundation of their relationship. Later that night, a private exchange allegedly occurred between Yandy and Mendeecees that insiders describe as pivotal. Yandy reportedly confronted him about patterns of secrecy, miscommunication, and emotional distance. "We can't keep repeating this cycle," she allegedly said, voice steady but intense. "If we want to survive, we have to face every truth, every hurt, and every betrayal." Mendeecees, reportedly overwhelmed, responded, "I don't know if I can handle it all, but I know we have to try." Friends describe the dialogue as raw, vulnerable, and full of the complex mix of love, anger, and desperation that had characterized the past week. As midnight approached, the household reportedly experienced another twist. A longtime family friend allegedly revealed yet another secret, one that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees had anticipated. The information reportedly added layers of emotional complexity, reigniting arguments while also prompting moments of reflection. Friends described the revelation as a bombshell that reshaped the entire narrative, forcing everyone to reevaluate their perceptions and loyalties. Insiders say that both Yandy and Mendeecees were forced to confront not only each other's actions but their own choices, mistakes, and patterns of behavior. Social media, already ablaze with speculation, reportedly picked up on subtle hints from the household. Fans, analysts, and observers dissected every post, comment, and deleted story, creating a frenzy of rumors, speculation, and online drama. Insiders claim that the constant public attention added pressure to the already strained household, making private reconciliation nearly impossible. Every move was scrutinized. One friend said, "Every silence was interpreted, every glance analyzed." It was exhausting for everyone involved. By early morning, friends say that a temporary calm emerged. The couple allegedly sat together quietly, reflecting on the chaos of the past days. Children asleep, the house momentarily still. "We've been through hell," Yandy reportedly whispered. Mendeecees' voice, low and tired, responded, "And somehow, we're still here." Friends describe it as a fleeting moment of connection, a pause before the next inevitable wave of conflict, revelations, and emotional upheaval. The next day, insiders claim that the family attempted to strategize for the future. Discussions reportedly focused on trust, rebuilding, communication, and navigating public perception while addressing private pain. Friends say that despite the fragile truce, tension lingered, and any misstep threatened to reignite the storm. The children, aware of subtle shifts, reportedly continued to ask questions and seek reassurance, further emphasizing the delicate balance the parents were attempting to maintain. As the week continued, more twists allegedly emerged. Business associates, distant relatives, and friends reportedly contributed additional perspectives, complicating the narrative and adding layers of uncertainty. Insiders describe the environment as relentless, emotionally charged, and unpredictable, with every interaction carrying weight. Both Yandy and Mendeecees, despite exhaustion, reportedly showed determination to confront the complexities together, aware that the family's future depended on navigating the storm carefully. Friends allege that another pivotal moment occurred during a late-night discussion focused on the children's well-being. Yandy reportedly said, "We can't let them grow up thinking this is normal. We have to be better." Mendeecees, visibly emotional, reportedly responded, "I know, but how do you fix it without destroying everything else?" The exchange, friends say, highlighted the delicate balance between personal grievances, family dynamics, and the responsibility of parenthood, with emotions running high and vulnerability at the forefront. Insiders claim that the night's discussions revealed additional hidden layers, past mistakes, long-held secrets, and previously unspoken feelings. The couple reportedly spent hours dissecting every interaction, reflecting on past patterns, and attempting to understand the motivations behind decisions that had led to the current drama. Friends described the environment as intense, exhausting, yet strangely illuminating, with each revelation offering both pain and insight. By the end of Part 5, insiders alleged that the Harris household had reached a critical juncture. The couple, though still grappling with tension, betrayal, and emotional exhaustion, reportedly demonstrated glimpses of determination, resilience, and vulnerability. The stage was set for Part 6, insiders say, where shocking confrontations, dramatic resolutions, and jaw-dropping revelations would push the family and their extended circle to emotional limits, redefining relationships, loyalties, and the very foundation of their family dynamics. The Harris household reportedly entered a new level of intensity as the final week of the unfolding drama began. Insiders claim that after days of confrontation, revelations, and emotional Yandy and Mendeecees were forced to face not just each other, but the full impact of their actions on their family, friends, and public image. The children, still acutely aware of the tension, reportedly moved cautiously through the house, asking quiet questions and seeking reassurance, their innocence hanging by a thread as the emotional storm raged around them. Early in the morning, a confrontation reportedly erupted over a misinterpreted message. Mendeecees allegedly confronted Yandy, voice thick with emotion. "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" Yandy, equally tense, reportedly responded, "I didn't know how to, and I didn't want to make things worse." Friends say the argument escalated rapidly. Words overlapping, accusations flying, and emotions spiraling out of control. Insiders describe the scene as a volatile mix of love, anger, and desperation, with neither party willing to back down. Later that day, a longtime family friend reportedly revealed additional information about past interactions, claiming that some of the betrayals dated back years, predating even the most recent conflicts. According to insiders, the revelation added a new layer of complexity, forcing both Yandy and Mendeecees to reassess what they thought they knew about each other. "It was like peeling back another layer of the storm," a friend reportedly said. Each truth hit harder than the last. The afternoon reportedly brought another dramatic twist when a cousin allegedly stepped forward, providing messages and evidence suggesting that not all secrets had yet been revealed. Insiders claim that the confrontation sparked renewed arguments, with voices rising, tears falling, and friends scrambling to mediate. The emotional energy in the room, according to witnesses, was intense, almost tangible, creating an atmosphere where even small gestures or phrases could ignite new conflicts. As evening approached, Yandy allegedly initiated a private discussion with Mendeecees, away from family and friends. She reportedly confronted him about long-standing patterns of secrecy and miscommunication. "We can't keep repeating the same mistakes," she allegedly said, voice steady but intense. "If we want to survive, we have to face every truth, every hurt, and every betrayal." Mendeecees, reportedly overwhelmed but attentive, responded, "I don't know if I can handle it all, but I know we have to try." Friends claim the exchange was raw, vulnerable, and emotionally charged, highlighting both the depth of their love and the fractures threatening to unravel their family. Later that night, another bombshell reportedly emerged. A trusted friend allegedly revealed evidence of decisions and interactions that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees had previously disclosed. Insiders claim the revelation sparked immediate tension, reigniting old arguments while prompting moments of reflection. The conversation reportedly lasted hours, with both parties dissecting past actions, confronting emotional pain, and attempting to make sense of the chaos that had engulfed their household for weeks. Meanwhile, social media continued to play a role, with fans speculating on every post, deleted story, and cryptic comment. Insiders allege that the constant public scrutiny amplified the pressure on both Yandy and Mendeecees, making reconciliation even more complicated. Friends reportedly warned the couple to tread carefully, as every move could be interpreted, dissected, and broadcast to a global audience. By midnight, the household reportedly reached a pivotal moment. Yandy allegedly confronted Mendeecees about his patterns of secrecy, emotional withdrawal, and past decisions that had contributed to the ongoing tension. "We can't keep hiding from ourselves," she reportedly said. "We have to be honest, even when it hurts." Mendeecees, reportedly shaken, responded, "I know, and it hurts more than you can imagine, but we have to face it together." Insiders describe the exchange as a turning point, where love, frustration, and vulnerability collided, creating a fragile but genuine attempt at connection. The following morning, Friends claim that both Yandy and Mendeecees attempted to reconcile, cautiously navigating conversations, emotional triggers, and family dynamics. Discussions reportedly centered on trust, rebuilding, future planning, and communication strategies. With both parties acknowledging past mistakes and the need for transparency, insiders say that while the atmosphere remained tense, there was a renewed sense of determination, a fragile hope that the family could begin to heal. Yet, as the week progressed, unexpected revelations continued to surface. A distant relative allegedly disclosed private interactions that added complexity to the ongoing drama, forcing both Yandy and Mendeecees to confront unresolved issues from the past. Insiders report that the conversations were emotionally intense, with moments of anger, vulnerability, and fleeting understanding. Friends claim that these interactions, while exhausting, offered opportunities for growth, reflection, and potential reconciliation. By late evening, the household reportedly experienced one of the most emotionally charged moments of the saga. Yandy allegedly revealed a secret she had been holding, a truth that purportedly explained many of the misunderstandings and perceived betrayals. Friends claim that the revelations stunned Mendeecees, leaving him silent for a prolonged period, processing the weight of the disclosure. The children, though mostly asleep, reportedly sensed the shift, the atmosphere lighter, yet still cautious. Insiders say that the final hours of the week brought a mixture of confrontation, confession, and fragile connection. Both Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly engaged in long, honest conversations, dissecting the past, acknowledging mistakes, and expressing both frustration and love. Friends describe the interactions as raw, emotionally charged, and pivotal, representing both the culmination of the previous day's drama and the potential beginning of healing. Social media, still abuzz with speculation, allegedly picked up on subtle hints of resolution. Fans interpreted cryptic posts, emojis, and carefully worded captions as signs of reconciliation, though insiders cautioned that the journey was far from over. The couple reportedly remained focused on private communication, prioritizing the family unit over public perception. While still aware that the world was watching, by the end of Part 6, insiders alleged that the Harris household had reached a fragile equilibrium. Both Yandy and Mendeecees, emotionally exhausted yet committed to confronting their past, reportedly demonstrated glimpses of resilience, vulnerability, and determination. Friends say that while the road ahead would remain challenging, the family had taken significant steps toward understanding, communication, and potential healing. As the saga drew this chapter to a close, insiders hinted at future developments, confrontations yet to unfold, secrets yet to surface, and emotional tests that would challenge the family and their inner circle. The story of Yandy Mendeecees and the Harris household, according to friends, had not ended, but this chapter marked a pivotal point where betrayal, love, and resilience converged, setting the stage for the dramatic conclusions that fans would eagerly await. The drama, heartbreak, and revelations had reached a crescendo, yet the echoes of these events reportedly continued to reverberate through the household, their impact shaping every interaction, every decision, and every whispered conversation. Friends allege that the journey toward trust, understanding, and family unity was ongoing, with each day offering both challenges and opportunities for reconciliation, growth, and emotional clarity. The morning after the week of revelations, the Harris household reportedly felt almost surreal, like walking through a dream where nothing was solid and every word carried weight. Yandy, still emotionally drained but fiercely determined, reportedly moved carefully through the rooms, checking on the children, speaking softly, and trying to maintain a fragile semblance of normalcy. Insiders claim she whispered to herself repeatedly, "We have to survive this. We have to find a way back." Mendeecees, on the other hand, allegedly spent hours alone in the study, replaying every conversation, every confrontation, every revelation. Friends said he muttered under his breath, "How do you fix years of secrets, years of mistakes, when everyone is watching?" The tension, insiders claim, was almost suffocating, hanging over the household like a storm cloud that refused to break. Even small interactions, a glance, a sigh, the brushing of a hand, were loaded with meaning. And everyone in the house reportedly tiptoed around emotions that could erupt at any moment. Later that morning, an unexpected visitor allegedly arrived, someone with intimate knowledge of past betrayals and unspoken grievances. Insiders claim this person laid out evidence, screenshots, messages, and recordings that suggested the story of the household's drama was even deeper than anyone had realized. Yandy reportedly gasped, covering her mouth, while Mendeecees froze, his eyes wide with disbelief. Friends describe the moment as like a bomb going off in slow motion, with each revelation peeling back layers of secrecy, tension, and emotional history. The afternoon reportedly brought another shocking twist. A distant family member allegedly confronted Mendeecees about decisions he had made years ago that were only now coming to light. The conversation reportedly escalated into heated shouting, with accusations flying like arrows, leaving friends and other family members scrambling to mediate. Insiders claim Yandy watched silently for much of it. Her expression, a mixture of grief, anger, and relief, validation that some of the things she had suspected for years were, in fact, true. As evening approached, the couple reportedly attempted to have a calm discussion about the children's future. Friends claim that both Yandy and Mendeecees realized, amidst the chaos, that their personal grievances were bleeding into the lives of their kids. "We can't let them grow up in this," Yandy allegedly said, voice trembling but firm. Mendeecees reportedly nodded, eyes downcast, whispering, "We have to fix it, somehow." Yet insiders say that even this conversation was fraught, as old arguments surfaced in between attempts to be civil, and tears flowed as both grappled with the implications of their decisions. Later that night, another shocking confrontation allegedly occurred. A close friend reportedly revealed messages from months prior that suggested not all of the couple's problems were new. Insiders claim the revelation triggered a heated argument, with Mendeecees shouting, "Why didn't anyone tell me this before?" And Yandy responding, "Because you weren't ready to hear it, because you've never faced things until they explode in your face." Friends say the shouting match lasted hours, voices echoing through the house, as the children, mostly asleep, reportedly stirred at times, sensing the intensity. The next day reportedly brought a tense family meeting, where extended relatives, friends, and confidants gathered to try to mediate and address the cascading drama. Insiders claim the room was thick with tension, with accusations and counter-accusations flying. One cousin allegedly said, "You think you're the only one suffering? We've all been carrying this." While another whispered, "We're only trying to protect what's left of the family." Mendeecees reportedly bristled at the input, Yandy silently observing, both internally calculating what could be salvaged. By late afternoon, a dramatic revelation allegedly changed the dynamic entirely. A family friend reportedly stepped forward with evidence suggesting that some of the betrayals had been orchestrated behind the scenes for years. A calculated pattern of secrecy, manipulation, and emotional gamesmanship. Insiders claim the news hit everyone like a tidal wave, leaving friends, relatives, and both Yandy and Mendeecees stunned. "This changes everything," Yandy reportedly whispered, voice barely audible, eyes wide with disbelief. Mendeecees, reportedly shaken, paced the room for hours, muttering under his breath about mistakes, missed warnings, and long-buried truths. Friends say he repeatedly checked messages, reread old conversations, and tried to piece together a timeline that made sense, though insiders allege that some moments left him questioning everything he thought he knew about his relationships. "I thought I understood her. I thought I understood myself," he reportedly said aloud. "And now none of it makes sense." The evening reportedly brought an emotionally charged private conversation between Yandy and Mendeecees. Insiders claim she confronted him with a long list of grievances, spanning years of secrecy, perceived betrayals, and patterns of avoidance. Mendeecees, visibly emotional, reportedly admitted faults, but also pointed to misunderstandings and hidden truths that he claimed had been withheld. Friends say the dialogue was intense, raw, and unfiltered, with each party alternating between tears, raised voices, and whispered confessions of love and frustration. Around midnight, a shocking new twist allegedly emerged. A longtime friend revealed documents and recordings that implicated other family members in contributing to the web of secrecy and betrayal. Insiders claim the revelation sent shockwaves through the household, sparking a combination of anger, disbelief, and revaluation of loyalties. Yandy reportedly sank into a chair, exhausted, whispering, "How deep does this go?" While Mendeecees reportedly shook his head, muttering, "We have to survive this somehow." Social media, meanwhile, reportedly exploded with speculation. Fans and followers dissected cryptic posts, deleted stories, and subtle comments, trying to map the drama without knowing the full context. Insiders claim that the couple was acutely aware of the online frenzy, feeling both scrutinized and pressured. "Every move we make is being watched," Yandy allegedly said. "Even silence has a meaning now." Mendeecees reportedly agreed, sighing, "It's like the world won't let us breathe, won't let us heal." As dawn approached, insiders allege that the family attempted a tentative reconciliation. Both Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly sat together in the living room, quietly discussing past mistakes, acknowledging emotional pain, and trying to rebuild a semblance of trust. Friends say the conversation was fragile, punctuated by moments of silence, tears, and whispered confessions, but it was also the first true attempt at connection after days of relentless drama. The day continued with tension interspersed with attempts at calm. Friends claim the couple navigated interactions with children, relatives, and friends with cautious steps, aware that any small misstep could reignite the storm. Insiders say that while some progress was made, the lingering impact of previous revelations continued to weigh heavily, creating a delicate balance between hope and apprehension. Evening reportedly brought another bombshell. A previously silent family member allegedly disclosed a long-hidden secret, one that cast earlier conflicts in an entirely new light. Insiders say the disclosure led to immediate arguments, followed by moments of reflection. As both Yandy and Mendeecees processed the implications, friends described the night as a roller coaster of revelation, anger, and vulnerability, with no clear resolution in sight. By the end of the day, insiders claim that the Harris household had experienced yet another shift in emotional dynamics. Yandy and Mendeecees, exhausted but determined, reportedly tried to find common ground, while the children and extended family members adjusted to the rapidly evolving narrative. Friends say that the week marked a turning point, where some truths were revealed, some wounds opened, and the foundation for possible reconciliation was laid, though the storm was far from over. The following morning, the Harris household reportedly felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with anticipation and the ghosts of previous confrontations. Insiders claim that Yandy woke early, checking on the children before retreating to a quiet corner of the house to collect her thoughts. She allegedly whispered repeatedly, "We have to face this. We can't let it fester any longer," her fingers nervously tracing the rim of a coffee cup as she prepared for another day of emotional turbulence. Mendeecees, meanwhile, reportedly spent the early hours in the study, reviewing old messages and conversations that had resurfaced in the past week. Friends claim he muttered under his breath, "How did we let it get this far? How do you untangle years of secrets without cutting everything apart?" Insiders allege that he repeatedly reread texts, trying to understand patterns, motivations, and hidden truths, while battling the rising pressure of public scrutiny from social media. Every ping from a notification reportedly made him flinch, a reminder that the world was watching, waiting for the next scandalous twist. By late morning, a private confrontation allegedly occurred between Yandy and a distant cousin. The cousin reportedly brought up old interactions that implicated both Yandy and Mendeecees in past misunderstandings, suggesting that some of the blame they placed on each other had deeper roots. Insiders claim that the discussion quickly escalated, with voices raising, hands gesturing emphatically, and tensions spilling into hallways and rooms previously untouched by the storm. Friends described the scene as a charged mix of revelation, accusation, and emotional exhaustion, where every word landed like a hammer. After lunch, the tension reportedly intensified when another close friend entered with documents allegedly showing financial decisions that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees had fully disclosed. Insiders say that the evidence prompted a heated debate, with accusations of secrecy and mismanagement flying through the room. Yandy reportedly stood her ground, pointing to previous instances where she felt undermined, while Mendeecees defended himself passionately, insisting his actions were always in the family's best interest. Friends claim the argument became so intense that some relatives reportedly left the room, unable to witness the rising storm. Later in the afternoon, insiders allege that Yandy and Mendeecees attempted a private reconciliation discussion. Yandy reportedly said, "We can't keep letting history dictate our present. We have to be honest with each other, with ourselves." Mendeecees, exhausted and emotional, allegedly responded, "I want to, but every truth feels like it might break us." The exchange reportedly lasted hours, with moments of silence punctuated by confessions, raised voices, and occasional tears. Friends describe it as a delicate dance between vulnerability and defense, love and frustration, clarity and confusion. As evening fell, a dramatic new revelation allegedly shook the household once more. A previously quiet family friend reportedly revealed conversations and messages suggesting that some past betrayals had been orchestrated intentionally, with motives that shocked both Yandy and Mendeecees. Insiders claim that the couple spent hours dissecting the information, trying to distinguish between intentional deception and misunderstandings amplified over years. The emotional toll reportedly left both physically and mentally drained, their nerves frayed by the relentless barrage of truths, accusations, and revelations. Nighttime allegedly brought a particularly intense confrontation. A cousin reportedly accused Mendeecees of continuing patterns of secrecy, while another relative allegedly challenged Yandy on perceived missteps in communication. Insiders say that the argument escalated to shouting, tears, and slamming doors, leaving the children frightened and seeking comfort in each other. Friends claim that the couple attempted to maintain composure, but each word, glance, and gesture was laden with tension, history, and unspoken pain. Midnight reportedly brought a fragile moment of connection. Yandy and Mendeecees allegedly sat together quietly, reflecting on the chaos, the revelations, and the emotional toll of the past weeks. Friends described the scene as intimate yet heavy, with whispered confessions, tentative apologies, and moments of vulnerability breaking through the emotional walls both had built. Insiders claim that although the peace was temporary, it represented a turning point, a recognition that rebuilding trust and communication would require ongoing effort, patience, and courage. The next morning reportedly began with cautious optimism, though the household remained charged with emotion. Both Yandy and Mendeecees allegedly attempted to navigate family interactions with careful words, thoughtful gestures, and an awareness that any misstep could reignite the storm. Insiders say that despite the tentative calm, the shadow of previous betrayals lingered, creating an undercurrent of tension that influenced every decision, conversation, and interaction. By mid-afternoon, a previously hidden message reportedly surfaced, shedding new light on the ongoing conflicts. Insiders allege that the revelation prompted another intense discussion, with both Yandy and Mendeecees confronting unresolved feelings, long-standing misunderstandings, and the emotional residue of past actions. Friends claim that the conversation, while exhausting, also provided clarity, offering glimpses of understanding amidst the chaos. Evening brought yet another twist. A distant relative allegedly revealed further evidence that complicated the narrative, suggesting that some friends and family members had contributed to the tension through hidden agendas, selective truths, and miscommunication. Insiders claim that the disclosure reignited arguments, forcing both Yandy and Mendeecees to reassess loyalties, trust, and relationships within their inner circle. The children, though shielded from the details, reportedly felt the tension, asking quiet questions and seeking reassurance from both parents. As the night wore on, friends say that the household reached a point of exhaustion and emotional clarity. Yandy and Mendeecees allegedly shared a private moment, discussing not only the past but their hopes for the future. Insiders claim that both acknowledged mistakes, confessed vulnerabilities, and tentatively explored the path forward, aware that rebuilding trust would be neither quick nor easy. Yet the conversation reportedly marked a subtle but meaningful shift, a recognition that love, honesty, and patience could guide them through the turbulence. By the end of the week, insiders alleged that the Harris household had entered a fragile equilibrium, both Yandy and Mendeecees, emotionally taxed but committed to confronting their past, reportedly demonstrated glimpses of resilience, determination, and vulnerability. Friends describe the household as a place of cautious hope, where every interaction carries the weight of history but also the potential for reconciliation. The following morning, the Harris household reportedly woke to a tense, almost electric atmosphere. Insiders claim that the weight of previous days' revelations lingered in every room, coloring conversations, gestures, and even the silence. Yandy allegedly moved carefully through the house, checking on the children, whispering reassurances, and attempting to maintain a sense of normalcy. Friends say she muttered under her breath, "We have to keep going, no matter how hard it gets." While her eyes betrayed exhaustion and worry, Mendeecees, on the other hand, reportedly retreated to the study, revisiting old messages, conversations, and records. Friends claim he muttered repeatedly, "How do you fix something that's been unraveling for years? How do you repair what's broken when everything is under scrutiny?" Insiders allege that he reread text threads, old emails, and social media interactions, searching for patterns, explanations, and any sense of control in the storm surrounding his family. Each ping of a notification reportedly made him tense, a reminder that the world was watching, waiting for the next dramatic twist. Mid-morning reportedly brought a confrontation between Yandy and a distant family member who allegedly revealed additional hidden details about past conflicts. Insiders claim the discussion quickly escalated, with voices rising and accusations flying. "We've been keeping secrets for years," the relative allegedly shouted, "and now it's all coming out." Friends describe Yandy's reaction as a mix of disbelief, frustration, and a strange sense of relief, confirmation that some of her suspicions were indeed valid. By early afternoon, another dramatic twist allegedly unfolded. A close family friend reportedly presented new evidence suggesting that some of the conflicts were exacerbated by intentional manipulation by outsiders. Insiders claim this revelation caused a heated discussion, with Mendeecees defending his intentions and Yandy questioning past decisions. Friends say the room was filled with shouting, tears, and intense emotion, leaving relatives and friends struggling to mediate. Later in the afternoon, Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly attempted a private conversation to address the ongoing tension. Yandy allegedly said, "We can't keep letting old secrets dictate our present. We have to face the truth, no matter how painful." Mendeecees, visibly emotional, reportedly responded, "I want to, but every truth feels like it could destroy us." Friends described the exchange as emotionally charged, raw, and revealing, with both parties alternating between vulnerability and defensiveness, love and frustration. As evening approached, insiders alleged that the household was rocked by another bombshell. A longtime friend reportedly shared messages, documents, and recordings that suggested previously unknown layers of deception. Yandy allegedly gasped, covering her face, while Mendeecees froze, his eyes wide in shock. Friends described the moment as like a tidal wave hitting a calm shore. Everything the couple thought they knew suddenly in question. Nighttime reportedly brought an emotionally charged confrontation. A cousin allegedly accused Mendeecees of continuing old patterns of secrecy, while another relative allegedly challenged Yandy on perceived past missteps. Insiders claim the argument escalated to shouting, slammed doors, and tears, leaving the children frightened and seeking comfort in each other. Friends acknowledge that even in moments of attempted composure, the tension in the house was almost tangible, every word heavy with history and unspoken pain. Around midnight, a fragile moment of connection reportedly occurred. Yandy and Mendeecees allegedly sat together quietly, reflecting on the chaos, revelations, and emotional toll of the past days. Insiders claim